For more on this, we turn to Dr. Edmund Ghareeb. He's a senior scholar at the Jerusalem Fund's Palestine Center. I really appreciate your time, Edmund. Now, we've heard a lot of rhetoric on both sides. What's your assessment of the Israeli intervention as stated now by land and sea and air that's expected in just perhaps hours, if not the next day or so?
Clearly, the situation in Gaza, as we've heard from your reporters, basically it's horrible. What we have been, Gaza, even before this whole, what's been going on the last couple of weeks, was an open prison, actually. Gaza was surrounded by Israeli Navy in the sea, by the Israeli planes in the air. And at the same time, Israeli forces on land. It was very difficult to go in or go out of Gaza. They are like living in an open prison for a long time. But the situation now is much more horrible. We've seen the decision by the Israeli defense minister that what Israel wants to do is basically blockade Gaza. But this blockade is going to go to prevent the arrival of food, water, electricity, and this is a clear violation of humanitarian international law. Israel is an occupying power which has been occupying the Palestinian parts, at least the West Bank and Gaza, since 1967. They are responsible for the life of these populations. What we are seeing actually is that there is also a forced displacement, what appears to be the order for about 1 million or so of the Gaza people to leave Gaza. Where are they going to go? I mean, this is a very serious situation that unfortunately the international community, we're not hearing much from the international community, from the United Nations.
If we could just, sorry to cut across you there, if we could just get to the international response in just a moment. If you could talk to us a little bit about some of the concerns of Gazans leaving their homes and perhaps not being able to return, and the historic precedents of that possibility.
Exactly. That's, I think, another aspect of it. What we've seen before is that, and this is what many Palestinians are very much concerned about. They are concerned about a repeat of what happened in 1948, what happened in 1967, when there were the Israelis forced Palestinians out of their villages, out of their homes. They went into Lebanon, they went into Jordan, some went into Egypt and Syria. And these people, with very few exceptions, they have been away, they and their children and grandchildren now. Some of them are still living in refugee camps in very difficult circumstances, and you find them in Lebanon, in Syria, in Jordan, in Egypt, in Iraq. And this is really a very dangerous situation, and this is what many people in Gaza are very much concerned about. That's why there is this concern about the forced displacement, is that even if they are allowed to go, where are they going to go? The only place where you have some land passage is to Egypt. Egypt, when it was trying to send some aid, humanitarian aid to the population of Gaza, they were bombed 3 times in one day, actually, the passage. So that makes it even much more difficult to get humanitarian assistance, some food, some medicine, water, etc., to the population.
Right. Do you think that the international community should stand by Israel regardless of its policies in the name of revenge?
One sec.
Clearly not. Then, if that's the case, if this is what international law is about, this is what humanitarian law is about, then we're going to see a lot of violence all over the world without any kind of control. How can the United Nations, assuming that what we say, everything that there has been said, which there have been a lot of fabrications from what you've heard. For example, in the past few days, you've been hearing we heard from President Biden, for example, that when he talked about that he saw pictures of children whose heads have been cut off, and then later on the White House had to back off and say, well, the president didn't see these pictures. There has been a lot of accusations. We heard about parading of women as prizes, rape, etc. But there's been no evidence of that. For that, there has to be. We've heard about only from the Israeli side. We remember what happened in Iraq in 2003. When we heard that Iraq had close ties to Al-Qaeda, it had weapons of mass destruction, chemical, biological, and was working on nuclear, and all of that was fabrication to justify the war, and there was not even a shred of evidence for what was said. So this is extremely unfortunate.
Right.
We're seeing a one-sided presentation. Sorry.
No, we'll have to leave it there. I do apologise. Dr. Edmund Ghareeb, really appreciate your time.